Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one will be doing my final review for The Walking Dead Season 6. I'm kind of sad that it's over. It's been just an absolutely incredible season. This one will be for Episode 16, the finale, Last Day on Earth. And this one will contain spoilers. If you guys have not seen the episode yet, you'll probably want to watch it before you watch my actual review. So if you missed it, I did do a live viewing reaction video. You guys requested me to do that. You've been asking me to do it for a few weeks now. So I decided, you know what, you guys ask and I'll do it as you wish. It's just what you want. So I'll put the link in the description. You guys can check it out if you want to see me and you want to watch the episode with me. That's kind of the best that I can do. I don't really want to put footage of the episode into my videos because it's dangerous. You can get your channel shut down, stuff like that. So, but it's got the audio in that, and it's got my reactions to each part, especially the big finale at the end. So, without further ado, let's talk about the biggest thing, man. I mean, it's a cliffhanger. Shit. I mean, there was a lot of discussion, there was a lot of debate beforehand. Will they leave the final death of the season for a cliffhanger, or will they show it to us? As I said in my Q&As, and we've talked about a lot, guys, it's just like, this is the way I feel about it. It would have been okay if they would have included one death in the episode and then, left another one to the cliffhanger, but they didn't. There was no deaths in this episode, which is kind of crazy for what it was. I mean, at one point we thought this was called Something to Fear, which I actually think that probably was the better title, but maybe they'll save that for the Season 7 premiere because that's like the continuation. So a lot of us were expecting this to be the best episode of The Walking Dead ever. I don't think it is. I don't think it's the best episode ever based on what it has. It's an extended episode, and it makes sense that it would be an extended episode, especially with the finale being so kind of delicate and them wanting to handle the Negan introduction sequence, which I thought was handled really well, with the exception of the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger is going to be a pain. There's no way around it. It's just going to be a pain. It's going to be a little bit painful that they ended it at such a moment, because we've been kind of waiting since November, since we knew that Negan was going to be coming in. In the finale, we were waiting to kind of find out who he was going to kill. That's kind of the big thing, is because they, with the Saviors, as you'll see in this episode, they always basically start off by killing one of the, the people that they're trying to keep in line. They want to send home that point that we're in control here and we can kill all of you. We will kill one of you to start, to show you what we can do, and that we're not afraid to do it, and that you're going to have to fall in line. So we knew that was going to happen, and it's kind of unfortunate how it went at the end. I did like the way it looked, though. The sound, Greg and Cotero did an awesome job as usual. The sound was good. The blood coming down looked pretty cool, and I like after the first one how the sound kind of goes out, and it's like, you're from a first-person perspective of somebody, which again we're going to talk about a lot leading up to Season 7, of course. And of course, when the trailer hits, maybe we'll have some hints in there of who it might be, and we'll do some breakdowns, and I'm sure we'll figure out in the next couple months who it actually is. First impressions, first reaction of who I thought it was, my interpretation of it based on placement, based on the point of view perspective. It really could be anybody, as they mentioned on Talking Dead, because it's hard to tell. But from watching it the first time, I have to watch it again to give more thoughts, but I believe it was near the right side of the lineup. So you're looking at, like, how you had Maggie who was around there, and then Glenn came out and he was around there. You had Michonne in there, and then Rick was kind of, it's difficult to kind of place. But my reaction was, I thought it was Glenn when he was hitting somebody. That's the one character I would go with myself. Now, I thought they were going to change it, because in the Walking Dead comic book series, this is spoilers for the comic in issue 100, as we've also talked about many times, it was Glenn. But a lot of us thought that they were going to change it for the finale. I thought they were going to change it. It looks like maybe they're not, which is still crazy to see and everything. And this one is actually closer to the comic books than I thought it was going to be. Negan's introduction, every line he says, as I mentioned in my reaction there, it's like straight out of the comics. It's like, and even the way Jeffrey D. Morgan kind of looks at him, the way I read it in the comics was a little bit different. It seemed to me that Negan would be a little bit more gleeful when he's doing this kind of stuff, but he is breaking bad news to them. So he's basically like, it's kind of like, if you go to a funeral and you got to tell someone the bad news, you don't smile at a funeral and, hey, oh, it's so nice to see you, this kind of thing. You break the bad news to them softly. You let them know calmly that you're gonna. I did like when he said that Lucille was awesome. I like that a lot, and the story of the little serial killer, with Carl, which was funny. So we had a few little funny quotes, but for the most part, this was a pretty serious part. Later on, of course, I'm sure we're going to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan joking around a lot more, having a lot more fun, and being a lot more silly. But at this current time, of course, being the state of the situation, something to fear, which is basically what this is from the comic book series. He's quite serious because of of his rules, and he has to set an example for his men. If he's going to ask his men to do that, to kill somebody right off the bat first, and he doesn't do it himself, it makes him a hypocrite. So he kind of has to at this point. He's got to kill somebody at least. So I loved Negan's introduction, man. I thought it looked great. Lucille looked awesome. Just the look is, the size of it, the width and everything. I thought Jeffrey Dean Morgan was really great as Negan, even though he seems a little bit small, like a little bit skinnier than probably he should be. But he probably had it on short notice, so I don't think he'd have time to really work out and get a little bit beefier. Plus, it's a television series interpretation, so we can't really expect him to look exactly like Negan, even though he's very, very close, I think, and it works out pretty much perfect. So that's my only kind of gripe with him, is that Negan in the comic series seemed a little bit more imposing than that, a little bit bigger than that. But hey, this is real life. When you translate or live action, when you translate comic book to live action, there's going to be little things that feel a little bit different, look a little bit different. But for the most part, they captured the feeling of issue 100 pretty much exact, with the exception of not getting to see whose head it is that gets smashed in. Which will be a huge topic of conversation. We'll talk about it in the predictions video I'll do in about an hour from now. For you guys, even though it's going to be loose predictions because we don't have any info on season 7 yet, really at all. There's no titles, there's no descriptions, there's basically nothing. We'll have to go based on the comic book series. So Last Day on Earth. So aside from the ending, which was intense, the whistling and everything, man, I really love the acting all the way through, especially Andrew Lincoln, man. He's an amazing actor, man. I mean, he just sells it, and I'm really glad he was chosen for the role of Rick, because when you see his face, he's really showing just this this confusion, this state of confusion, this loss of control. He's used to being the one that always has the answer. People are looking at him like, Rick, what do we do? And at this time, it's like he can't do anything. It's just this powerlessness, surrounded by the group. And it almost reminded me of Fear the Hunters in the comic book series when you see them, especially on the road there, and they're like all standing on cars and stuff, and there's just like so many of them, to the point where it's like, wow, Rick and the group probably killed around 50 already, and still there's so many of them that there's enough to have them in different spots and then have them all come together where they catch Rick and the group. It's almost like they knew where they were going. They knew where they were going to Hilltop, and they just kind of waited, and they kind of scouted them, and they had Eugene and everything, and it was all set ready for them when they arrived. Oh my God, my goodness! I mean, what an intense, crazy, scary finale, especially the last part with the whistling and everything, when they first show up and they look around and they realize that they're screwed. I also liked how Nicotero, he used the the black scenes where you have just the glimmer of light there, and you don't really know. I mean, we kind of knew that it was going to be Daryl, Michonne, and the others, but we didn't really know. And throughout the episode, they chop in, and it worked out really well, especially after the commercials and stuff each time. That kind of little, and then at the end they show who it is. They come out, and Daryl looks like shit. And he's kind of like he's like bleeding and stuff. He looks like hell. You got Michonne, and also how they had taken her dreads, a couple dreads, and put them in zombies, and a couple of the bolts in zombies. And you see Dwight there. He's using the crossbow again. Daryl's crossbow. He gets Glenn, and I really liked how they used Stephen Ogg, man. He was bigger than I thought he was going to be. He's like Negan's. It's almost like he's Negan's number 2, and then Dwight would be lower down the. I'm not sure if he's Wade, if that's who he is. I don't know if he said. I'll have to watch the episode again to see. But he like introduces him. It's time to meet the man. He's like introducing him and everything. He's a great choice for kind of your like lieutenant type savior, like your second level to Negan. I answer to Negan type deal. I don't answer to any of you type of deal. He's great. I love the conversation he had with Rick there about last day on Earth, and Rick makes the threat, but the thing is that he doesn't know his enemy, right? So even though Rick, the law of averages, they've been able to beat, almost anybody they faced throughout the series so far. Now they run into a group that just has numbers. Like they have so many people, so firearms and everything, and even blunt weapons. They are just stacked in terms of the saviors versus pretty much anybody else at this time. Negan has really set up a system and incorporated a lot of people, and you can see why he's doing this to Rick's group, because again, that's how he keeps adding people. If people are killed off, if survivors or saviors are killed, he adds more, as it goes through, as time goes on. So all the stuff at the end, crazy, the scene and everything, the lines that he said to Maggie and stuff, and Glenn freaking out. And that's another reason why I thought maybe it'd be Glenn, because he was a little bit ticked off that Glenn had kind of flipped out when he even kind of mentioned Maggie, or even kind of looked at her as an option. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo was intense, and all the lines were good. I especially like the one about him killing many of his men more than I'm comfortable with, which is it was great. So aside from the ending and just how intense, insane, terrifying, dramatic that was, I mean, just crazy. The rest of the episode itself. So the other main thing that I enjoyed a lot from the episode was, of course, the stuff with Carol and Morgan. I thought that was excellent, because you have, of course, okay, so let's backtrack with that. You've got Morgan finds the horse, goes and he runs into Carol, which I was surprised to see him run into Carol just like that and actually find her there. So he finds her, but then she decides that no, she doesn't really care to live anymore at this point. She really doesn't, and she just wants to go off and just be away. It's too much pain. She just wants to leave, right? So she leaves, and then Morgan continues to try to find her and go after her. As he's put down the hanging zombie was really cool too. And you got a question like, did the saviors do that? Probably. That's probably their handiwork, and just leave him there as a zombie. So Morgan puts one down and she takes off. Then we see the savior who was stalking her down, who finds her and shoots her. I mean, I was surprised at that point. I did not think that was going to happen. So he shoots her in the arm and he shoots her in the leg. Crazy stuff, man. So then one of the best parts of the episode is when Morgan, and I really hope we were going to see this, transforms back and realizes that, okay, Carol is right to some degree. I may be idealistic, but at this time, either he kills that savior's going to kill Carol. He's already shot her twice. He's going to finish the job. So as such, Morgan just fills him full, shoots him several times and killing him. And then, of course, finds the people from the kingdoms, and this was really handled well too, because I figured they probably wouldn't have enough time or resources to build the kingdom to show us the community itself, which of course are people who haven't read the comic book series. And I've done a video explaining what the kingdom is, and that you can check it out. It's in the channel. If you type in kingdom in the search tool, you'll find it. But basically they wear a kind of body armor, that kind of deal, and they act like they're back in sort of medieval times. Where they would use swords, spears, horseback riding, body armor, that kind of deal. Makes a lot of sense for zombies. They go to bite you, you have armor on. It doesn't get through. It makes sense that you would have characters wear or survivors wear gear like that. Also, because guns and ammo are hard to find at this point, as Jesus kind of pointed out before in that episode, when he says, like, do you even have any ammo to Daryl and Rick? Because it's surprising that some people do. It's hard to come by. And so they're saved, so to speak, by them, and we're to assume that Morgan and Carol for Season 7 are brought to the hilltop, the kingdom, I meant to say, the kingdom, in order to, be her to be helped after being shot twice. So I'm assuming that she's going to survive now. I love this kind of, this character dynamic. I don't know if it's like a relationship, but, not a romantic relationship, friendship between, maybe not even friendship, just relationship between Carol and Morgan, and how they've rubbed off on each other, they've affected each other, and kind of where each of them is at this point. So, at one point during this episode I was watching, like I showed in my reaction, I actually thought Carol was dead. I thought Carol was like, okay, she's been shot once, she's been shot twice, she's dead for sure, unless, and then, of course, the kingdom comes into the rescue, which was cool. So I loved all those scenes. Man, they really had me going there when Carol got shot, and Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by it, and that was actually some of the most climactic stuff in the episode, which of course is all completely added in because none of that's in the comic book series, which also made it even more kind of exciting as well. So, will they go to the kingdom now? Will they meet Ezekiel in season 7? A lot of questions. We can do some predictions about that, and it'll be cool to see what it looks like in the television series version. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that stuff. It was all really well handled. I like the environment shots. I like the way everything looked. It was just great. Looked different from what we're used to, which was cool too. So aside from that, the rest of the episode is basically the group. You know, they run into Stephen Ogg's group. He hangs and kills the guy, lights up the forest fire type deal. You know, the Saviors just got him. No matter where they try to go to get to the hilltop, the Saviors kind of seem to figure out they know where they're going. They seem to really want to get there, and they block off each road. And Rick's in the group. They kind of turn around and go back. Probably the most exciting part was the part with the chain of zombies, but they get through. But even still, nonetheless, Eugene has a great idea and tries it, but they still get caught anyway. So aside from that, that's pretty much all I want to mention in the episode. I mean, it was 90 minutes. There's good dialogue. I like that you had Abraham talking to Sasha about maybe them having a baby. We'll see if that stands still. We'll see if he's still interested in that after what's going to happen at the end of the season and going into season 7, of course, the major death and everything that has happened. And yeah, I think that's most of what I want to say about the episode. I mean, as a review, in terms of score, I'm going to give this one a 9.4. It was an amazing finale. Great for television because, of course, cliffhanger. We've seen some cliffhangers before. We had the cliffhanger at the end of the Terminus. The end of the kind of half-season Terminus arc when they get to Terminus and they're captured. So I guess they have kind of surrendered before. In this case, they have absolutely no choice. They have to. That was kind of similar in some ways, and it's kind of similar to the situation with Terminus, where that group, the Saviors, don't necessarily just want to kill Rick's group. They could do that, but they see them as too important. They see Alexandria. They see what they have. They see that these people could be very, and also because they're tough too, right? He killed so many of Negan's men, so many of the Saviors already, that Negan is going to see value in them. He's going to want them. He's not going to want to just kill them. He's going to want to keep them. So kill one of them, teach them a lesson, and then keep them working for him. So it sets up the show in a great spot for the start of season 7. I'm crushed that they didn't show us the death in the finale and that it's a cliffhanger. But hey, you can. We all know why they do it. It's so that they can pump up the season 7 premiere and everybody comes back. I guess they kind of have to because they want the show to continue and be strong. 16 episodes a year. The amount of views it's getting and everything. It makes sense that they would do it. I'm a little bit disappointed because I wanted to see who. I don't want to wait till October, man. I don't want to wait because I already waited this long to find out who it's going to be. And at this point, it almost seems like if I had to guess, they might just go with Glenn. So we'll talk about that more in the predictions video coming up. I'll call it here for the review. Check out the reaction if you guys haven't seen it, and check back in about half an hour to an hour for the predictions for season 7 when I give my thoughts on what I think is going to happen season 7. So if you're new to the channel, if you're not subscribed and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. You'll get to see all the videos this summer. Fear the Walking Dead, of course, next weekend. Reviews for that. All the usual stuff, guys. Almost daily videos for Walking Dead, leading up to eventually season 7 start in October. And the same thing next year, with the usual reviews. Everything the same. Nothing changes except for I changed the intro. Season 7. I've been doing this since the first season, so I like even longer. So I like kind of like season 1, season 2. It fits. It's cool. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the episode. Write your comments below, and I really want to hear what you think about the cliffhanger. That's the biggest topic of conversation. Send me your questions for Q&A. I'll do a Q&A. Probably have it set for you guys for tomorrow, and we can discuss all these things. There's just so much to talk about with regards to the finale and where it sets us up and everything. What an insane season 6 was. I'll probably do a review of the season as a whole and just give my thoughts, compare it to other seasons, whether or not it's the best season yet. Just insane, man. Absolutely insane stuff. So I am satisfied, even though I wish we could have saw who Negan kills in the finale rather than having to wait to season 7. If you guys like this video, please thumb it up below. That's all I got to say for the review. You can share and favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe. Leave your comments below. That's it for this one, guys. See you again in about an hour for predictions. As always, it's Trev saying peace. See you guys.